Hi, everybody. DJ Yoakley with you with another player profile of Warren JFK. One that has eluded me for 4 years, and I finally able to reel him in. The big fish. I have gone after Moby Dick with tartar sauce, and we have come out with the man, the myth, the legend, one of the greatest student athletes that I've ever covered in my tenure here at YSN, Mr. Eddie Kiernan. How are you, buddy?
Good. How you doing, DJ?
I'm doing well. I love seeing you bright and shiny in this morning setting. You got the
Yeah.
JFK banner behind you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We needed a good environment for the interview. So
Good
figured.
backdrop. I
Oh
like
yeah,
it.
good backdrop. That's right.
So obviously, a lot of success over your tenure as just a student athlete at JFK through the football program, and you just told me you're doing shot and disc this year as well. Talk to me about the last 4 years of football, what it was like, and what a whirlwind it must have been for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's to put it into simple terms. I mean, it was really life changing. At JFK, football's huge. Um, it's such a crucial part of our culture here at Kennedy. And I remember going through junior high, always seeing the state championship team in 2016, and kind of looking at those guys and seeing the success they had, and it kind of made me fall in love with football. And once I got to high school myself as a freshman, contributing to that team, and over the years growing not only as a player but as a person, and most importantly probably for me is as a leader. um, Taking the teams that we took, we went to one back-to-back regional championships last 2 years. We went to a state championship game, and then obviously last year, or I guess this year, a state runner-up, or not state runner-up, excuse me, what would you consider? Yeah, state, no, before state runner-up, state semifinal. There it is.
Right.
So no, I mean, just for me, growing as a person was so huge during that time, and contributing to this culture we have here at Kennedy. You see all these K's behind me. Big thing we say here at Kennedy is representing the K, and that's always been pounded into me. And I feel like our class, and me specifically, we really represented the K. We represented the culture well. We added to the culture, and we continued the culture, and that's really all I cared about when I was playing football. And I'm happy that we were able to do that, honestly.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. You talk about your leadership. You talk about the legacy that you guys left as a class. When people talk about you, Trip, it's all about you being a leader, you being a prime example of representing that K. When people tell you that, how does that make you feel that you have really created something as of a role model status at Kennedy that you leave behind for obviously so many, including some even in your family?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just about like having an impact. We can go back to football. I remember after freshman year, person by the name of Frank Tempesta, who you probably won't ever cover in the news, but he's our strength and conditioning coach at Kennedy. I remember him coming to us after that year, and saying, we need to get in the weight room, and we need to do it early. And part of that was the 5:30 a.m. liftings. And that was so huge for me to begin going to those, because he taught me how to be a leader. Frank Tempesta, our strength and conditioning coach, taught me how to be a leader. Um, he taught me what accountability meant. It was waking up early. It wasn't skipping sessions. It was holding yourself accountable first and foremost, and then holding others accountable. And I saw that as I did that, as I held myself accountable, I got better. And then as I held others accountable, they got better. And when everyone gets better, the team gets better, and you only see success.
Sixth and seventh graders report directly to the gym. Sixth and seventh graders report to the
Sorry
gym.
about that.
Make sure you don't report to the gym, man. You're not
Yeah,
in
don't
seventh
report
grade.
to the gym, no. But yeah, no. As time went on, and as I learned more from not just Frank Tempesta, but some of my other coaches, some that come to mind would be Coach Beck, who's the head coach my first 2 years, Don Prologo, coached my last 2 years. Other notable names would be Danny Stella, and then just people around me, teachers, Elise Consiglio, Joe Keneally, my father, Ed Kiernan II. Just people in my life taught me how to be a leader, what that meant, and to hear that, how much they influenced and impacted me, to hear that I may be doing that to the next generation here at Kennedy. that's huge for me, because that's all I've wanted. I just want to make an impact, and what if that means whatever that means. I'm happy with it. I'm proud of it, and I just want to keep doing it.
So many people have really dove into being, you say making an impact. So many people want to be a role model in this world, and really struggle to get there. You do it with, and I don't want to take anything away, you make it look easy. And obviously there's nothing easy about it. The hard work that you put in, you mentioned the 5:30 workouts, the time that you have to put in the books to be who you are and to continue looking at Ivy League schools. Talk to me about understanding the work ethic that you had to have. Where did you develop that? How early in your life? And how have you continued to kind of churn that along in everything you seem to do?
I'd say that kind of started with my mom and my dad, two like very hardworking people, especially my mom. She's a physical therapist, so she's always been at work, and I always saw that when I was growing up. Was her work ethic. Same with my dad. He's in business, so he's always traveling. I just saw how hard they worked. And they really instilled in me, especially my mom, when it comes to academics, the importance of your grades. And somehow through that, and through athletics as well, you develop this sort of competitiveness, where it's, you want to be first, you want to be the best. And when you have people around you, friends, that's why I love all my friends. They're just as competitive as me. And that's not just, with football, or not just with whatever, baseball, basketball, euchre, we play cards, in school, it doesn't matter. They're competitive, they want to win. And when you have people around you who are competitive, and I'm competitive, you push each other. So it's, I got an A on this test, but he got an A+. Man, I got to do better next time. Or, me and my buddy, we got a B on this project, and they got an A. Like, man, no way he just beat me. And it's with everything in life. And I think that's where I kind of developed myself this work ethic, was I didn't want to be beat. I don't want to be beat not only by the people I was playing, my opponents, but by my friends. I didn't want to be beat by my teammates. A notable person, we talked about the weight room, who always pushed me in the weight room, was Pat Vallon, who I'm sure, huge D1s. He's getting D1s every other day now. He pushed me all the time, because I would go and I would max out on the squat, and he would beat me by 10 pounds. I'd be like, oh my gosh, this dude. Now I got to work harder. Now I got to show up earlier. Now I got to push myself even more. And, that's just one example. I could rattle off tons of names who I've competed with here at Kennedy, Cam Hollabaugh, Jesse Likens, Michael Morrow, who in the weight room, in the classroom, on the field, wherever, that competition, you push each other and you make each other better. And that's kind of where it stems. You don't want to be outworked. You don't want to be beaten by the other guy. And I think that's really where it stems for me, is that competitiveness, for sure.
When somebody says that you epitomize the K, right? When we talked about that a little bit, what does that mean to you? How does that make you feel, that during your 4 years as a high schooler, that you embodied perfectly everything that your teachers, your administrators, your coaches wanted you to, that they really think that you are the perfect example of what they want walking through those hallways at Warren JFK?
Yeah, the K, it's something that's like preached everywhere here at Kennedy, and athletics and academics and everything. So, it's kind of hard to grasp unless you go here and you've been through this culture. But for me, and how it was always preached to me, was it's like pillars, right? You got faith, that's part of the K. You got the family, your family, the Kennedy family, and then you have just being excellence. It's excellence as a whole. So it's excellence in sports, or excellence in academics, or whatever. Whatever you do, excellence in it. So for me, faith and excellence in faith, and that's worshiping God. That's praying. That's giving glory to God. That's first and foremost, and then it's your family. It's holding your family close, protecting your family, and then last, it's that element of excellence and having excellence and striving for excellence. And it's tough. It's kind of a hard thing to really put into words. But I think when you're here and you're in this family, I truly call Kennedy a family, because we feel so intertwined, so close knit. It's just something that's expected. It's like we wear these polos. You got it right here. It says Kennedy. It's like, it might as well be a K. People have polos with a K. It's the same thing. It's like something you wear on your arm, on on your chest. It's like a patch, just a
badge of honor.
reminder of what we do here. So to say that I emulate that, I wouldn't say emulate that at the best. There's a lot of areas that I definitely believe I can improve on in that regard. But that's very it's very humbling, and it's very uplifting for sure.
All right, let's talk about real quick, Eddie, that last game. And everybody thinks that the last game they're gonna go out, they're gonna win a championship. It's gonna be a Disney movie, straight out of the storybooks. That wasn't the case. It was looking good for you guys for a long time. And obviously, as state runners up last year, you wanted to come back and shine and raise that golden trophy this time. Didn't happen that way. When did it finally sink in for you that was the end? Was it during the game, or did it take a while till after to really realize what was occurring, and that might be the last snap you ever play in competitive football?
Yeah, that's tough because obviously the last 4 years, football's been such a big part of my life. And as a senior, when you're in the playoffs, no matter who you're playing, whether it's a great opponent or opponent who isn't as great, you accept the fact that this could be my last game. I could get injured. This team could beat us. You never know. So you kind of have that mentality going into every playoff game, I feel. In that last game, it was tough. The conditions were tough. We weren't playing our best ball, but the whole time we fought, and that was very important to me as a leader of that team, because I had been on teams in the past, or I had been around teams in the past where when the times were tough and things weren't going well, there was kind of this point where you quit. And I was proud that we didn't quit in that game, because I think it really showed we had heart, and we represented the K. And when the game ended, it was of course crushing, because that's the last time I'm ever going to put the pads on, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the last time I'm ever going to wear this helmet. This is the last time I'm going to go to war with my brothers. But a part of me was truly, genuinely at peace, because it felt like despite losing, I had still led a team to do something great in back-to-back years. And sometimes winning and losing isn't what it's all about. It's about how do we represent ourselves? How do we carry ourselves? What did we learn in this process? How do we represent our community? And I felt the team this year did a phenomenal job of that. And the future is bright for them. So, does it suck? It sucks. But great things can't last forever. Like you said, sometimes you can't get that storybook ending, but I'm very proud of everything I accomplished. I'm very proud of everything we've accomplished this senior class, and the future is bright at Kennedy. I wholeheartedly believe that. So I'm happy. That's all I got to say.
One of my favorite stories of your career, and maybe of the entire, just everything that we've done at YSN, involves you directly, because you broke your hand as a center. You broke your hand and learned how to snap with the other hand, your left hand, your non-dominant hand. And that's everything from actual snaps to shotgun snaps and all of that. When it happened, walk me through what your mentality was, because there's a lot of people that would have just said, you know what, I'm out for 8 weeks, I'm out for the year, whatever it is. And you just decided you're wrapping it up, you're clubbing it, and the other side, you're going to learn how to snap. That takes not only skill, but determination and willpower. What was going through your mind when all that was going down?
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny story. I don't think I've ever told it to anyone outside of here at Kennedy, but basically it was the day before first playoff game against Lowville last year, and so the COVID year, and we were just going through some hand stuff on the D-line. My buddy Liam went to go set, and I just hit wrong for whatever reason. I don't know if my hand got stuck on a pad. I don't know what. For whatever reason, I hit it, and I just felt an immediate pop in my hand. I'm like, this isn't good. Go over to the trainer. She's like, yeah, there's something wrong there, but we're just going to have to tape it up and finish practice. So that's what I did. We finished practice. I get home. It's still a problem, but the game's the next day. So what am I going to do? Right? Like I'm not going to cast this thing up and not play in the first playoff game. Like I got to just deal with this. So we wrapped it up for the next day. We played, we beat Lowville. And we went to the doctor the next day. He got an x-ray. Turned out it was broken. The doc basically told me, we can't tell you what to do, but I would recommend not playing. And at that point in the season, we're championship hopeful. right? We got the team that we believe can and will win the state championship. We had just won our first playoff game. And in my mind, it was, I go both ways, center and D end. I'm on most special teams, and I know I'm one of our best players and our leader. I cannot sit out this game, the rest of these games, because if I'm sitting out the rest of the year. And it wasn't even an option for me. It was, we're casting this thing up, we're wrapping it up in a club, and we're playing. And I remember asking my O-line coach, in regards to playing center, obviously I'm right-hand dominant. I snap with my right hand. I'm clubbing my right hand. So do you want me to move to guard? Do you want me to move to tackle? What makes this easier? What do you want me to do? He basically told me, he's like, listen, learn to snap with the left hand. He's like, you can do it. You're smart. You work hard. And he's like, you can pick it up easy. And I started looking up, and I remember I looked up. Do you remember, the name's blanking me right now, but there was a Jets, because I'm a Jets fan, so of course this is what came to me. There was a Jets center back in the day, like early 2000s. He broke his hand. And instead of sitting out for 6 weeks, he just casted it and learned to snap this other one. And I'm like, if he can do it, I mean, of course he's a pro, but if he can do it, I can do it. So I learned to snap the left hand, play defense with the left hand, and honestly, I played some of my best ball. So it was like, it was like, you lose one of your senses, everything else, it gets enhanced, right? You lose your eyesight, your hearing gets advanced. So it was like I lost that hand, but then everything else got enhanced, and I played some of my best ball, and it was just, I was battling through adversity. To me, it was never an option of not playing. So I'm happy. Of course, I played through it, and we made a great run because of it, and I'm just happy. I'm happy because of that. So
one of my favorite stories ever, man. It just thank you for that, because I will live with that the rest of my life. And I mean, there's no excuses at that point. And if you can play with a broken hand, I'm sure it was tough for anybody that got injured, during that playoff run, to say, "Oh, I'm out," because you're looking at a center with a guy that's snapping with the other hand. So kudos to you, man. All right, let's talk about track and field real quick. There's a different mentality for you. And you were kind of a cool, calm, collected dude in those pads. Are you able to take the same mentality onto when you're throwing shot and disc, or is it a different mentality? How do you change from being the cool, calm kid and with this great mentality, well-spoken, to being an absolute animal on the field and throwing shot and disc?
Yeah, I mean, for me, for on the field, it was always, I got to keep my composure as a leader, because I can't. If I get too hyped up, if I get too crazy, everyone else sees that, and we get off the chain. So it was always, for me, I got to keep my cool. But there are obviously those times you get jacked up, you get hype. I mean, it's a physical sport like football. And honestly, in a lot of it's very similar in some ways to track and field. You can't get too high, you can't get too crazy, because if you do, your technique goes out the window. So you kind of need to stay calm. You need to stay loose. That's super important. That's something I'm trying to learn to do better at, is staying loose. So your technique can flow correctly, but you still need to have that controlled aggression, that controlled anger. That's how I tried to play football, was with controlled anger. There's a famous, I remember watching an Aaron Donald clip before the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and they played the Pats, and Aaron Donald's talking about controlled aggression. I loved that idea of you're like an animal in a cage with all this anger and all this rage, but you need to stay calm. You need to stay collected, and you need to just go about your business with that aggression locked away and whatnot. And I think that's similar in football. That's similar in track, where you can let yourself go a little bit. You can't get too crazy, because if you get too crazy, stuff's gonna start going wrong. But yeah, just that mentality of controlled aggression for sure was what I try and attack sports with, really anything with.
I think one of the coolest things about you, man, is your family. You have a great family. You have 4 great parents that look up to you as a young man. You've got a younger brother who I think is the bee's knees, man. He is so cool. Way different than you are, obviously.
Polar opposites.
But you're blazing a trail for him and setting an example. With you looking at Ivy League schools, there's a lot of pride that comes from you, obviously, and all the work that you've done, but there's a lot of pride from your family. What did you want to do when you were going into looking into schools and things of that nature? Did you want to really go? I mean, everybody wants to do the best they can, but you really have your choice of anywhere you want to go in the world to get your secondary education. What does that say to you about, what your family has kind of provided for you and obviously for your brother as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. So my mom and dad are obviously from the area. They managed to get out and live all over. I was born in Portland, Oregon. I lived in Florida for a while, and I've lived up here. I've grown up here most of my life, but I've also bounced around up here. They've always pushed me to get out, see the world. Don't just stay here my whole life. And if come back when I'm older and have kids and whatnot. But right now, this is the time I need to explore the world and see what's best for me. So that was big is going out and going to places where maybe I'm not comfortable, because through being uncomfortable, I'll definitely grow. So that was a focus. And then again, my mom has always been focused on academics. Has always pushed me to do the best I can in academics. And, when I started to realize that the best that I can do is something that can lead me to some really prestigious colleges, I wanted to pursue those. Because when you get out of a college or when you graduate from a college like an Ivy League, it sets you on a very unique path. And the people you meet while you're at a school like that is really, you're meeting the next Mark Zuckerberg, you're meeting the next Elon Musk, you're meeting the next giants. And if you can connect with someone like that, you can do some great things, and you can help yourself and you can help your family. So, I mean, the support system, that not only both my parents, my mom and my dad, but also my step parents, that they've provided for me. I mean, it's been fantastic. It's been, there's nothing more I can ask for, truly. And then in regards to my brother, yeah, I mean, he's a crazy one. He's a wild one, very different than me, but he'll find his own path, I'm sure. I just hope, I can serve as that inspiration for him, whatever he wants to do and whatever his path ends up leading. I just hope, in, what is it going to be, like 8 years now, when he steps on that football field, I'll be watching from the stands, and, he'll be doing crazy stuff and have his own stories as well. That's all I want to see from him. And if it's not on the football field, whatever makes him happy. But I can't wait for that time to come, for sure.
I love it, man. I can't tell you how big of a fan I am of just you as an individual. What you've done in the classroom, what you've done on the field is nothing compared to who you are and what you're going to be in the years to come. We wish you all the best, my friend, and we will be following with a close eye wherever you go. Just thank you for all the memories, for all the great opportunities to cover you. Thanks for all the support.
Oh, thank you,
along
DJ.
the way.
Thank you. Everything you do at YSN is so awesome for the community. I talk about it all the time with my dad. I talk about it all the time with everyone. So, you guys keep up doing what you're doing. You're bringing some great stuff to the area. And yeah, until next time, I guess. Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Kiernan, thank you so much,
all right,
brother.
Thank you, DJ. Appreciate it.